Hi, everyone. It's Marcus Golding with the Dan Choi Group, and I'm here today with Brad Evans. Brad is one of the loan originators that we work with here at the Dan Choi Group. And Brad, I brought you on here today because there's a product that you offer to your clients that I would like to talk to you about. But first of all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with me today. I appreciate that very much. But if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Yes, Marcus, thanks for having me. So, a little bit about me. I'm married, have two kids, born and raised in Orange County. I live in South Orange County. I graduated with a finance degree. I played collegiate volleyball. I've been in the mortgage business for 15 years. I really love helping people. I have a great passion for what I do. I have a small lender team to help support me to take good care of your clients. I work for Cross Country Mortgage. We're located in San Juan Capistrano. We also are a direct lender, but we also have the big bank pricing. But that's a little bit about me and kind of what I do.
Very good. Awesome. Yes, yeah. So the reason I brought you on is one of the products you offer to your clients is a house in hand, quick close, 10-day close program. And I know that in today's market, it can be very difficult for buyers competing against multiple offers. And one of the things that you can do is change the terms of your purchase agreement. And one of the things is by shortening your escrow period. In order to do that, you obviously need to be able to close your loan in a shorter amount of time. And sometimes that can be difficult to do, especially in 10 days. But if you could explain to the viewers how you're able to do that and the process and what it looks like for buyers.
Yeah, for sure. So the program that we have, it's called the House in Hand program. Would you mind sharing your screen, Marcus? So this program is called our House in Hand program. So it's a very competitive marketplace, like you said. There's not a lot of inventory. There's a lot of buyers. So whatever you can do to help make your buyers stand out, we help with that. We help you win in a multiple offer situation or a very competitive market. So this House in Hand program, this is good for FHA and conventional loans. And we offer a full approval and a commitment letter. And we also have the ability to protect your buyer's deposit so they're not at risk. And so this allows your buyer and you to submit a confident offer and not have a loan contingency. And also, you can write in the contract that will close in as little as 10 calendar days. So, this really helps your buyer emulate a cash buyer and really stand out. And we go stronger than that. Sometimes we'll write $100 per diem to the seller. We'll put that in writing for every day that we don't close. And sometimes, the sellers, they're not ready to move out right away, or they might get frightened by such a quick close. And so sometimes our agents will do like an agent negotiated rent back to let the seller stay in their house to pack up. But this just gives them the certainty that it's going to close. And that's our House in Hand program. And I just wanted to just share, a lot of the agents or buyers that when I offer this or I talk about it, they just like, I've never heard of this, and how do you do this? And
Yeah.
so I just wanted to share kind of how it works and my thought process, and I'm really analytical. I like to pay attention to details. And so when I first talk to a client, it's like our initial call, and I try to do like a 15-minute Zoom call, with the spouse and them. And if we can't do a Zoom call, we'll just do it on the phone, or we try to meet in person. This is like the pre-qualification stage, and I'll get more information, ask a lot of high-level questions just to make sure I understand the whole picture. And then after that conversation, I have a pretty good idea, as far as like pre-qualifying them. And I like to do options. I like to send details up front before I even get documents. So I just wanted to share this slide with you. It's kind of hard to read. It's really small, it looks like, but I like to send options. So if I have that initial conversation with the client, and I'll show them different purchase prices. So I might show them purchase prices at 500,000, 450, and then just show them, hey, this is what happens if you put 10% down or 15% down. And I'm really good at showing them interest rates and showing them how how it really works, and because mortgage rates change every day, and I just like giving them all the details and real numbers, even before they send me their documentation. And at the bottom of the email, after our first conversation, I'll know what documents I'll need from them to get their ducks in a row. So I'll put that at the bottom of the email when I send the options. And so that's kind of like the initial call. And then once I get all the documents, like the pay stubs, the W-2s, the bank statements, the driver's license, once I get that, me being from an underwriter background, usually takes me about 2 to 3 hours to really pre-approve someone, and once I do that, I'm going to set up a pre-approval consultation call, either on Zoom or in person or on the phone. And it's usually about 15 to 20 minutes. And at that point, I might have some questions. I might have some trailing documents that I need. I'll let them know that. And so I'll get them over that pre-approval letter, but I'll go one step further, and we're actually able to submit the loan to underwriting. So we do everything in-house: processing, underwriting, closing, funding. Everything's done under our own roof. So I would get that file submitted to underwriting prior to them finding a home. And that usually takes about 24 hours to get that full approval back. And then once we get that full approval back, that's where we're at the point where now we can write an offer for a 10-day calendar day close. We can waive the loan contingency. And then with the appraisals in Orange County, we have our own appraisal management company. And so we're able to get those appraisals back sometimes within 3 days. So this program, it's like I said, it's for FHA and conventional, but I think it's a huge niche. Just having the ability to close so fast and make your buyers stand out in a competitive situation.
Very good. Yeah, thank you. I know you mentioned the loan contingency. Once a client is pre-approved and a complete underwriting is performed, are there any things that could like jeopardize that process as far as removing that loan contingency? Is there anything they should be worried about by removing that?
Well, we don't have the appraisal back. Sometimes we get appraisal waivers, but sometimes we don't get appraisal waivers. So sometimes we actually need to get an appraisal. So that's one instance where I've seen where the appraisal will come into play. Maybe it comes in lower than the expected purchase price. So then you might have to restructure the loan. So I'm pretty good at upfront, with the realtors, they're good at pulling comps and we can find out what their worst case exposure would be. So if the appraisal value wasn't, we weren't sure if it was going to be there, we'd make sure that we would find their worst case exposure if the appraisal comes in low, and have that resolution and have that all figured out even before the appraisal is done. So some instances, that where somebody's putting the least amount of money down, like if they're doing FHA and they're putting 3.5% down, and we're not sure about the value, it might come in low. That particular person, since they're putting the least amount of money down, might have to bridge that gap, or we might have to do an appraisal rebuttal. But I know with realtors, you have that inspection period. So we try to get those appraisals back super fast. And that's, like I said, we can get those back in 3 to 5 days. But like asset, income, credit, that's the stuff we're getting fully underwritten. That way there's no obstacles. But yes, sometimes you have that appraisal variable that comes into play.
Okay, well, thank you. Super good information, a great program that you offer to your clients, great value to them, obviously. If anyone out there has any more questions for Brad or would like to get in contact with him and talk to him about this program, his contact information will be in the comments below. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time. And thank you, Brad, for also taking the time to be here and speak with me today.
Yeah, thank you, Marcus. It was a pleasure.